Over the past 3 months, we've met the families forced to live in incomprehensible conditions that their housing associations have failed to fix in the face of constant calls for help.
I just feel like I'm crying out for help and I'm not getting it. I'm really not.
I contacted my landlord, who have done nothing about it.
Now, the National Housing Federation, the body behind England's 800 leading social housing providers, responsible for 6 million tenants, has admitted their sector has failed.
Your investigation has revealed stories that are just completely unacceptable, and I want to say sorry to those residents. They deserve better.
Sorry seems to be the easiest word when it comes to housing associations when we approach them. Why does it take us, our intervention, for you to do something about this?
I know some members are investing more money. I know members are reviewing their complaints processes. It should never take an ITV News investigation to get action on a repair.
But it's still happening. In Manchester, Angela's flat is riddled with black mould and damp. In her bedroom, in the kitchen and the bathroom, where they've had no hot water from the tap for 2 years and the shower consistently breaks. What's it like washing and bathing in here?
The smell's just horrific. It hits you, it really comes out.
A flood here 3 years ago, which saw sewage leak into her home, destroyed the floors and the walls that she says Guinness, her housing association, has never properly repaired.
I wake up with an absolutely banging headache, and I'm under the smell on our clothes. I mean, everybody comments it's embarrassing. Our daughter doesn't want to be here. She can't bring friends home because she's embarrassed of our home.
Guinness told us they are very sorry to Ms Price for the condition of her home, which they admit is not acceptable. They told us they want to work with Ms Price to carry out necessary repairs and discuss with her an alternative place to live. But across the country, an increasing number of social housing tenants are not happy with how they're being treated. Figures obtained by ITV News show the Housing Ombudsman received more than 7,300 complaints about housing associations this year. That's up 35% in 3 years. That's as they've been making more and more money. Their overall income has doubled in just over a decade, from £10 billion to £21 billion last year. And more money has meant bigger salaries. The top 10 housing associations set up to house people on low incomes now pay their bosses up to £436,000 a year. In 2020, chief executives of the biggest companies took home, on average, £340,000. While housing associations don't make profits, they have generated more and more income by building more of their own homes and selling them on the open market. But this former housing association boss believes some providers are neglecting the tenants they exist to help.
The priority should be investing in our existing stock and actually providing the best possible service we can to those people who live in those homes. Because actually most of the growth that we've had in the sector in the last 10 years has been building homes which are unaffordable for most of the people we were set up to help.
The salaries that people are on in the sector, can they justify them?
I think some of the salaries are too high, but I can see why someone living in unacceptable housing conditions would say they are too high. Yeah, and I could not argue with them.
Why do housing association chief executives need to earn, in some cases, treble what the Prime Minister earns for their salary?
The salaries of housing association chief executives are set by independent boards. Those boards often have residents on them, and they are comparable in the not-for-profit charitable sector.
Do you not worry that people are living with damp and mould and ceilings collapsing and constant leaks and rodent problems, but yet their CEO earns £400,000 a year?
When it comes to chief exec salaries, this is not something that I set.
You have no personal opinion on whether you think they could justify that salary?
I think these salaries they're not set by me, they're set by independent boards.
We asked the top 10 associations for an interview. They all declined. With the national shortage of affordable homes, their role has never been more important, but too many of their tenants have been left to feel like they are not.